Who's you good little buddy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're just a cutie. Look at you. Look at your big old biocannons and your teeth and your jaw that's split down the middle. And who broke 3 times before this video was even published? You did. But you know what? I still love you. Don't worry. We're getting ready. The Genestealer cult is there and you will be fine. You'll get plenty to eat. I promise. Promise. Okay? You know I care for each and every single one of you. Okay? But I think we're doing a video. Hey everyone, I'm Egoqueenalexis. Love me, and I do. Anyway. Look at this guy. He's so cute, isn't he? I can't put him down right now because he'll break. Because this model is designed poorly. What I really need to do is actually put some pins in him. But he's a good buddy. Actually, This is Demona. And my Hierophant's name is Goliath. If you know what that's from, comment in the comment section down below. But today, we are taking a look at the elite characters that are featured in the Genestealer Cult Codex. So, let's take a look at the models, and let's go over some strategies. So looking at the models that I have, we are missing a few of them, including the Clamavus, who is like the Hierophant, the guy with the speaker and everything, with the DJ booth set up. Except these guys are the true DJ booth setups. Anyway, laying out before you, we have the Kelermorph. And right next to them, we have 2 Noxes. Noxoglycerin. I don't know. I'm trying to make jokes. They're not that good. Standing next to him in the back more, we have the Locus. And then we have 3 Sanctus with sniper rifles. I prefer them with the sniper rifle over being close combat, mostly because this gives me a blip token to put into my deployment zone, put up high, and keep him out of danger, as well as wrapping him with infantry. See my previous video for wrapping characters. Now, I do have one missing, but I don't really like him too much. Oh, and I'm missing the Biophagus, however you say his name. The one that messes with aberrants. I don't have him yet either, so I do apologize about not having those models. Regardless, we will actually go over what they can do. So, first off, we have the Clamavus, the one that actually spreads the message of the Genestealer cult. He's the Hierophant. Movement of 6, ballistic and weapon skill, strength and toughness of 3, wounds 4, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 5+ save. He only has an auto pistol, so pretty much garbage. He has cult ambush and unquestioning loyalty, as do all characters in here. Scrambler array. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot set up within 12 inches of this model. In addition, at the start of your shooting phase, roll a d6 each time a unit within 6 inches of any dude guy from your army on a 6 that enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. So, at the start... Oh, he actually hits them with music. Go figure. Now, his other thing is his Hailer. Add 1 to the leadership characteristics of cult infantry while they within 6 inches of this dude guy. In addition, add 1 to the advance and charge rolls made for cult units that are within 6 inches of dude guy McScruffface. Overall, these guys are pretty decent, but not great. They're going to take away a little bit from your force, but also make it so that you can't get deep striked on. Which, if you guys really are getting deep striked on, you're kind of... I don't know what kind of opponent you're playing. Maybe more Genestealers? It'd be really funny. But most armies don't deep strike at this point. I could be wrong, and you could be facing a full deep striking list, even though that's an impossibility. But at the same time, I'm really... I'm meh about the Clamavus. I think he's decent, but overall, he's a solid pass for me. I don't really see his uses. But if you do, please comment in the comment section down below telling me all about how Clammy Boy over here is extremely good. I would love to see it and read it. I meant to say read it. That makes more sense. Anyway, next up we have my Locus. My Locus is converted from a Commissar. I cut off the head, put up a Genestealer head, cut a banner. I want to replace that sword, but at the same time I really like the sword. And yeah, I also ordered the new Commissar model coming out, the chick, whose name I cannot remember at this current point, but I'm going to do the same thing to her, except I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to put the Genestealer cult banner on the back of her and count her as another Locus. Okay. Now, what he has is he has the Hypermorph tail, which is pretty interesting. He also has a Locus blade. A Locus is a single model armed with both of these things. Movement characteristics of 6 inches. Weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 4, 4 attacks, leadership 8, 5+ save. Cult ambush, unquestioning loyalty, unquestioning bodyguard. Each time a cult character model other than the Locus loses a wound while stay within 3 inches of a friendly cult Locus, you can select one of these Locuses to intercept the attack instead of using unquestioning loyalty ability. If you do so, roll a d6. On a 2+, the character does not lose a wound, but the selected model suffers 1 mortal wound. You cannot then use unquestioning loyalty to avoid this. On a 1, the original model loses the wound. So he can intercept attacks for your Magos, which is okay. Get it? They're bodyguards. They're elite bodyguards. You know, like Salazar's 2 things. U3, I think it's called. That has the hypermorph tail and stabs people. Somebody is going to get my Resident Evil reference. I hope. Anyway, he actually has a stratagem or 2 that can work with him. Now, going over his other abilities, he has the Neurothermal Rod. Subtract 1 from leadership characteristics of units while stay within 6 inches of enemy Locus, which doesn't really do much. We all know that leadership is pretty much pointless in this game. Sudden Strike. In the charge phase, if this model is within 6 inches of an enemy unit after your opponent has completed all of their charge moves, he can perform a heroic intervention. This model can move up to 6 inches when performing a heroic intervention, and can choose to move towards the nearest enemy character within 6 inches rather than the nearest enemy model. Quicksilver Dodge. Quicksilver is actually interesting because that's from the role-playing books. In fact, a lot of these characters are actually from the role-playing games. Desperado, Sniper, I'll stop. Pure Fat is the other one. Well, Assassin, I meant to say. But anyway. This model has a 5+ invulnerable save. So, decent, he has a save, but he's only toughness 3, meaning that anything he gets into close combat with is really gonna, kind of stomp him. Although his weapon, the Locus Blade, is actually pretty good. Increase the weapon's damage characteristic to 2 if the bearer has made a charge move this turn, or was charged or performed a heroic intervention. So, pretty decent if you want to run. He's okay. Quicksilver Strike. This model always fights first in the fight phase, even if it did not charge. If an enemy has a unit that charged or has a similar ability, then alternate choosing units to fight with, starting with the player whose turn is taking place. So if he's charged by Slaanesh units still kill him pretty easily. Okay. Especially with only a toughness of 3. He's a close combat bodyguard, very similar to the Gemini, except without the wings, or the jump pack, or grav shoots. You would think this army would have grav shoots. Anyway, overall, I view this guy as kind of mediocre. You won't really see me playing him in too many games because I don't really know any too good of strategies to run with him, aside from maybe keeping him next to your Patriarch, your combat characters. But overall, he just seems kind of mediocre. And I don't know. I know there's a relic you can give him that makes him pretty good. But that's it. He's there. Moving on, we have the Sanctuses. Now we're going to talk about some good characters. The Sanctus is a single model armed with a silencer sniper rifle. It is guided by a soul sight familiar, which attacks using his familiar claws, because they're familiar to him. He looks at his claws and like, wow, these are familiar. Looks at your claws and he's just like, nah, that's not me. Anyway. Movement of 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, so already better than the other guy. Toughness and wounds, toughness 3, so strength 3, so the other one is a bit stronger than him. Wounds 4 for attacks, 8 leadership, 5+ save. No invulnerable save, keep that in mind. The Silencer Sniper Rifle, 36 inches, heavy 1, strength 4, AP -1, D3 damage. This weapon can target characters, obviously, and on a 6+, deals a mortal wound. If an enemy psyker loses any wounds as a result of this attack, with this weapon, it suffers perils of the warp. So, yeah. Yeah, after this weapon has been resolved. So, I don't know why you would go with the Bio Dagger over that, in any way, shape, or form. I really, really like these guys with sniper rifles. If you're wondering about the conversion, it's simply Space Marine Scouts with Genestealer Cult Head and Genestealer Cult Icon. I kept them mostly brown because I wanted them to blend in instead of, you know, brightly colored, because that just seems silly to me. This Sanctus Bio Dagger, I'll read it. It's garbage. Strength 1, AP -2, 2 damage, and always wounds on 2s. You make 1 additional attack with this weapon, so it actually has 5 attacks with this thing. It's hitting on a 2+ and wounding on a 2+. Now, normally, I'd be like, that's amazing. Except he's only strength and toughness 3, so if something comes near him and sneezes on him, he dies. This model can replace its sniper rifle with the Bio Dagger. Personally, I wish they can carry both. I don't see why a dagger takes up the amount of room as a sniper rifle, considering you could just put a quick harness on a sniper rifle, toss it on your back, and take out the dagger. I don't know. Anyway. Cold Ambush, Unquestioning Loyalty. So you can surround him, you can bubble wrap these with infantry and completely protect them. Cult Assassin. This model can never have a warlord trait. The perfect ambush stratagem has a command point cost of 0 when being used to affect this model, which is really good if you go with the close combat weapon. Me personally, I put him back in my deployment zone, on top of a building behind infantry. So I just put an infantryman on the bottom floor. That bottom floor will always be closer than the top floor of the Sanctus, so they have to shoot the bottom floor, which they can't see usually, especially if you're using ITC rules. Chemocloak, add 2 to the saving throws this guy receives from cover instead of 1. So his 5 goes to a 3+, so again, keeping him out of line of sight, keeping him in line of sight, but keeping him up high is really, really good. Soulsight Familiar units do not receive the benefit of their cover for saving throws against this model. So again, why would you not take his sniper rifle? The Bio Dagger just seems absolutely worthless with him. I mean, maybe using the stratagem on him and some psychic powers on him to boost him, but I'd rather put those buffs and everything on Genestealers or Aberrants that are more meant for close combat. This guy is clearly geared towards long range. So I stick with long range with them. Absolutely. 100%. I think they're better at long range than anything else. They are actually a go-to in my army list. I always include 3. Now granted, you can't include 3 in the same detachment, but you can, however, run 3 detachments with 1 in each. Keep that in mind. That also applies to any and all characters that I'm going to talk about. Next up, we have the Kelermorph. I converted mine, just cutting off his sword and putting a pistol. So pistol, pistol, pistol. I figured that was the easiest thing to do. The Kelermorph is a movement characteristic of 6, ballistic weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness of 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 5+ save. He is armed with 3 Liberator auto stubs and a Colt knife. See? He can carry a Colt knife. They can't carry a dagger. I think that's stupid. Anyway, Unquestioning Loyalty and Cult Ambush as standard. And Gunslinger. This model can target enemy characters even if they were not the closest enemy unit. In addition, each time this model hits an enemy with a pistol weapon, it can immediately make one additional hit roll against the target with the same weapon. These bonuses don't do more. They don't keep going. So his Liberator stubs, auto stubs, are pistol 2. So he has 6 shots. So on average, you're getting 7 shots. Now, that being said, you may roll amazingly and get 24 or something crazy like that. He might just keep shooting, which would be insane. But I digress. The average you're going to get with him is 7. Heroic Deeds, Heroic Inspiration. This model kills an enemy model with its ranged weapons, then units. Then until the end of the phase, re-roll rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly cult infantry whilst they are within 6 inches of this dude guy. So if he kills something, things next to him get better. He has a 5+ invulnerable save. Decent, not great. The Kelermorph has a lot going for him, but overall I feel like he's kind of a meh character. Better seen in small-scale skirmish games or actually just small-scale games, but as you get into bigger games, he'll pop in, kill something, and then die immediately, which for his power level and his points is perfectly okay. Overall, I want to try out a few of these guys. I want to build up 3 of them and see how they go. Next up, we have the Nexos. I think that's these guys. Let me just double check and make sure that I am correct on saying that those are the angry Squidward. Anyway, they got the little DJ booth set up. This conversion is made out of a Tau drone, just the basic drone. I think it's a Tau missile launcher. So that's how I made that conversion, and I just put 2 dude guys next to it. Okay, so the Nexos. Movement 6, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength, toughness 3, wounds 4, attacks 3, leadership 8, 5+ save. They have auto pistols. That's it. Unquestioning loyalty and cult ambush, as per the usual. Can only take 1 of them in per detachment, as usual. Next thing is they have strategic coordinator. After this model has been set up on the battlefield, you can select 1 of your ambush markers that are on the battlefield and remove it before setting it up anywhere that is wholly within your deployment zone and more than 12 inches away from an enemy model. So you drop him, you can take 1 of your objective markers, that's, let's just say, concealing one of these guys, and put it up on top of a building, and then pop him in, and boop, you're good. I actually have used that in a game, and it was a lot of fun. In addition, if your army is battle-forged, roll a d6 each time either player spends a command point to use a stratagem whilst the Nexos from your army is on the battlefield. If it was a command point you spent... Wow, I got a wicked glare on my book right now. And there is at least 1 Cult Primus and 1 Cult Nexos in your army on the battlefield, add 1 to the result. If it was a command point your opponent spent and you would have at least 1 Clamavus and 1 Cult Nexus in your army, then add 1 to the result. Either case, if the result is 6+, you immediately gain 1 command point. Keep in mind, in open play games, you can keep getting command points and it's whatever. But in matched play games, which is the most normalized games, you're only getting 1 per turn and it's on a 6+ normally, except if you're taking a Primus or the other dude. So unless you're taking a Primus because you're not taking the other dude, you would get a command point back on a 5+ on your turn and a 6+ on your opponent's turn. Overall, not great, not terrific, but still pretty neat. Next up, we have the Biophagus. I don't know how to say that crazy name. The dude who's Invader Zim's enemy's dad. I can't remember names if you can't remember, if you haven't noticed. Anyway, I'm just gonna call this guy the Bio Dude. Okay? Bio Dude. See him? Bio Dude. Anyway, Biodude has a movement characteristic of 6 inches, weapon and ballistic skill 3+, strength toughness of 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, 8 leadership, 5+ save. The familiar has pretty much the same stat line except for a strength of 4, which is rather amusing that a little tiny dude guy like this is stronger than him. But then again, chimpanzees are much stronger than humans. So go figure. Anyway, Cold Ambush, Unquestioning Loyalty. Pretty box standard. He has his Injector Goad as well as an auto pistol. The Injector Goad, this weapon always wounds on a 2+ unless it's targeting a vehicle or titanic unit. If a character loses any wounds as a result of an attack from this weapon, roll a d6 after all the bearer's attacks have been resolved. If the result is higher than the model's remaining wound characteristics, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. He's actually pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. And if your army is based around aberrants and abominants, this guy is going to be your go-to, especially if you want to take three of them in 3 separate detachments. Genomic Enhancements. This model can enhance one friendly Cult Aberrant unit whilst it's within 1 inch of it at the end of each of your movement phases. Roll a d6. On a 1, one model from the selected unit is slain. Oopsie daisy, we killed it. Then roll a d3 and refer to the table below and see what bonuses the survivors gain as a result of for the rest of the battle. A unit can only be targeted by this ability once per battle. So if you have 3 aberrant units and 3 Biodude guys, you can affect all 3 units, but only 1 can affect 1 unit each. Okay, the D3 bonuses is on a 1, +1 strength, on a 2, +1 toughness, and on a 3, +1 attack. All pretty decent, but I'd mostly be going for that toughness because T5 is really good. If a Biodude guy is accompanied by an Alchemist Familiar, then once per battle, when the Biologist uses his enhancement ability, its Bioalchemic Familiar can aid it. If it does so, roll 2 d3s when rolling. Okay. So if you have dude guy makes gruff face, the little dude guy with him, you can spend him, and you can instead roll 2 d3 and choose which one you want on the enhancement table. So there's a lot of weird stuff to do when you have this guy, and a lot of weird stuff to do when you have the Genestealer cult in general. So keep this all in mind as you proceed forward. Personally, I think if your army includes 3 units of aberrants, regardless of where they are and what detachment, I would include 3 of these guys to affect all 3 units. I would take their Alchemic Familiar, and I would mess around with them and see how the results vary. Now, I think that is it for the characters themselves for the elite choice. If I have missed anything, such as any stratagems that you would use along with each of these characters, please tell me in the comment section down below. Before you mention it, I am fully aware that his sniper rifle can be upgraded by a relic, but I personally take it on my Jackal Alphas because I love my Jackal Alphas. Vroom. Anyway, guys, I hope this video has been enlightening. I hope you've drinking your lemonade and walked down some dark alleys all alone while watching this. Actually, I don't, because that sounds really dangerous. Don't actually do that. I'd be upset if you did that. But anyway. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and comment. Ring that stupid bell thing, because YouTube cares about that for some reason, and I'm still not sure why. Also, comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Comment the stratagems. Comment your strategies. Comment your psychic powers that you may have because you're an enhanced superhuman, and I may want to recruit you for my own cult. Anyway, guys, also, while you're down there, be sure to check out links in the description down below. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also follow me on Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to helping the channel, helping the cult grow and share its influence with the rest of the world. And isn't that what we really want? We want to make this planet pleasing for our gods. I mean, you saw them. They're hungry. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.